Hey everybody, it's Lon Simon. We've got another unboxing. A few weeks ago we looked at the iPad 6th generation. Now we have the 7th generation that just came out from Apple. So I figured I would pick one up because this is the entry-level iPad. And we always like to look at entry-level products here on the channel. Now this one sells for, I believe, $329 to start. That's with 32 gigs of storage and Wi-Fi. That's the one I got here. You could probably still find the 6th generation one out there because it is still being sold at many retailers for less money. And I found out that the processor in this one is the same as the prior generation. So we're going to unbox this one now, and then we'll have a full review on the main channel at lon.tv. Now, the key differences with this new iPad as we unbox it here is that the display is slightly larger. It is a 10.2-inch display versus a 9.7 on the older device. You get a slightly larger display here. And the other big change is the keyboard plug here for the Apple Smart Keyboard cover. This is the same cover that you can use, I believe, with the iPad Air, which is still being sold with a faster processor, as well as the 10.5-inch iPad Pro. So we'll take a look at that keyboard in a second. So this is the iPad. Nothing much to see here, of course, because there's nothing much to plug into it. You have a Lightning connector here, not USB-C. And then you also have a headphone jack, which you don't have on the higher-end iPad Pro anymore. You also have your volume rockers here and your power switch and an 8-megapixel camera here in the back. And we'll take a look at all of those things as we get through the review here. Fingerprint sensor here, the standard Touch ID, and that is it. There's a couple different colors available. So that's the iPad. In the box, you get your charging cable. You get some instructions and I think some stickers of your Apple logo. And you also have one of their 12-watt chargers here, which you need for charging up the iPad fast enough for what you probably want out of it. So 2.4 amps at 5 volts, and that is the charger. So that is the iPad itself. And again, we're going to have a full review of this and compare it to the prior generation in a little bit. And then I think for about $150, I got to check the price on this again, is the Apple Smart Keyboard. And we're going to take that out of the box now. And I had one of these once when I had the old iPad Pro, so now I've got it again. By the way, I paid for all this with my own funds. And what you got here is kind of a felt component to the case. This is what touches the screen. And then, of course, you have the keyboard underneath it. I really do like these keyboards. Believe it or not, I've been able to type really quickly on them. What's also nice about them is that they're completely waterproof because it's all sealed up. So it is a high-quality keyboard. You're just going to be paying the price for it. Now, what it does is it connects magnetically to the little pogo plugs here at the bottom. So it just kind of lines up itself here, and then once it gets locked in, it just kind of comes together on its own. And then you are good to go. And that's what the case looks like when it's folded up. You get a little bit of a bump there for the keys. And I'm going to clear the boxes out here for a second and just show you what it looks like when it's laying flat. Now, one of the issues I've had with this keyboard in the past is that it never laid completely flat for me. It kind of would pop up at the back. But this one appears to sit flat now, which is nice. So that is how that works. And when you're done, you just fold it back up together and you can head off and do your thing. What's interesting is that normally this keyboard case is for a slightly larger screen, because I believe the other iPads it supports have a 10.5 versus a 10.2. So I'm guessing the bezels on this one, probably the top and bottom bezels, are just slightly larger than the iPad Air and the old iPad Pro. So that's why it fits all of them. So in any event, we're going to have a full review of this coming up very shortly on the main channel at lon.tv. So stay tuned. But my initial assessment here is that if the keyboard is not important to you and the 10.2-inch screen isn't important to you, I think you could probably stay put with Generation 6 because it will be the same processor inside and thus the same performance. But we'll put it to the test and see if there's any optimizations that have taken place with this new design that might warrant choosing this one over Generation 6. And by the way, like Generation 6, this one also supports the Apple Pencil and a few of the alternatives. And of course, we'll put that to the test in the full review as well. So stay tuned. More to come at lon.tv.
This channel is brought to you by the lon.tv supporters, including gold-level supporters, the Four Guys with Quarters podcast, Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, Mike Talbert, Brian Parker, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.